welcome to Mooney Reads. Today I have my TBR for the Rent Readathon. The Rent Readathon is something that I host with Kathy Trithart. If you haven't checked out my announcement video, I will link that in the description. Throughout the month of September, we will be reading books based on the musical Rent. There are a couple of different ways to participate with the prompts that we've made. With the stack that I have here, this will fulfill one book per person. However, I might read outside of this as well. I have a few books that I'm in the middle of that are going to fit for this readathon. I may also pick up library books. This is just a pile of books that I think look neat right now that hopefully I'll read. But just like with any TBR, anything can happen. The first book that I have that I'd like to read this month is When I Was Me, Moments of Gender Euphoria. Now, this is also the Queerthology Book Club's pick. They are over on Instagram, and I'll also link them down in the description. They focus on reading queer anthologies, especially by authors of color. They've actually asked me to be a guest writer for this month's book club, so that's really exciting, and I'm stoked to read this. You can get it in a PDF format for pretty cheap, so definitely check that out if that sounds interesting to you. Just like every other book on this TBR, it could fit for a number of different characters, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to put it for Mimi because it is a graphic novel. The next book that I have is also a graphic novel, and that is the first volume of Bitch Planet, which is a dystopian sci-fi where women who go outside of the social norms in different ways get put on basically a prison island on a different planet. That's about as much as I know. I've heard good things about it. It's been a minute since I've heard about it. I guess it's a little older, I guess, in terms of comics and graphic novels, but regardless, I'm going to read this, and I'm going to select it for Jonathan Larson since it is dystopian. The next book I have is a poetry collection, These Godforsaken Notes, an Irreverent Poet's Memory Loss Memoir. So I'm going to be putting this for Maureen because it's a book of poetry by a bisexual person, so that fits for two. Next, I have the Kurt Cobain journals, which I'm using for Roger, of course. Kurt Cobain was the lead singer of Nirvana, so it's about music, which makes it appropriate for Roger. He also had some issues around addiction. I'm not sure if that's covered in here or not, but it could very well fit for Roger twice over. Next, I have In the Aeroplane Over the Sea by Kim Cooper. This is a little book that's kind of a part of this larger 33 and a half series that focuses on the creation of these different albums. You'd think that I'd be using this for Roger because it's about music, and I could very well decide to put it for Roger if I don't get to the Kurt Cobain journals, but I'm actually putting this for Joanne because it is nonfiction. Next, I have We See Each Other, A Black Trans Journey Through TV and Film by Tre'vell Anderson. And this I'll be using for Mark because it is part memoir and part, I guess, like film analysis or film discussion. Then I have Lark and Kasim Start a Revolution by Kaysen Callender. This is a young adult contemporary focusing on two trans teens who were best friends. One of them gets a secret leaked on the internet, and kind of the story arises from that. Judging by the synopsis, there might be a romance component to this. There's definitely stuff about friendship and self-love. So I'm going to be using this to fulfill Angel's prompts. Then the final book that I have is My Government Means to Kill Me by Rashid Newson. This is an adult fiction novel that focuses on a black gay man in New York around the 1980s and 90s. I think in the description it says that he's involved in ACT UP and kind of HIV and AIDS activism. This is really well researched. Obviously, I haven't read it yet, but I do follow the author on TikTok, and they put out a lot of videos, or they have had a series just about the footnotes that they use in this book. So there are a lot of just references to actual people, actual places. So I'm super excited about this book. And I'll be using this book to fulfill Colin's prompt, since it focuses on a queer Black character and definitely could teach you something, even though it's a fiction book. So those are the books that I have set aside for the Rent Readathon. We'll see how many I get to or what ends up being added or moved around. But in the comments, be sure to let me know about a couple of books that you're excited to get to for the Rent Readathon. And thank you all so much for watching. Bye.